A huge update on what's going on with these two storms. Still bringing a lot of snow, freezing rain, and the severe weather. But the severe weather has ramped up. These storms have gotten worse. We even have chances for tornadoes for tomorrow as well, while we get these damaging winds going all the way towards the East Coast, all the way up towards the Northeast. Now, we do have winter weather advisories out for this first snowstorm. We even have Indiana and Ohio on there. We're seeing a little difference in the pattern now, where it is going to bring a lot of snowfall towards y'all on a wraparound where you wasn't getting it yesterday. So that could be good news for everyone in Ohio that's looking for snow. As that goes up towards the Northeast, still showing you're going to get a lot of ice. I think an ice storm is still going to produce. Then on that second snowstorm, bringing chances for ice and freezing rain towards the South Central as well. And still showing over here by the Carolinas, we got another ice storm and a big snowstorm coming in. That next one is showing anywhere from 1 to 2 feet. Some models take it 3 feet and more, maybe even up to 5 feet. But you can see all the flooding alerts going on for this morning as you get all these storms that's about to train for today and for tomorrow. Very strong storms. So I'm going to show you the latest information in this video. Help me share this information to other people, everyone. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Let's get into the information. Now, you can see for today all the way to this afternoon, you are going to get some snowfall coming across Iowa, Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. There's going to be a light amount, somewhere around 1 to 3 inches. Then it's really going to pivot and pick up towards the Northeast as you go through for tonight. Not to mention the severe weather. We'll go through that. But look at the snowfall that's coming on the wraparound from Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, going all the way towards western Pennsylvania, where you wasn't getting snowfall yesterday. So it did do a big change. While you get all that freezing rain and that snow towards the Northeast, mostly for New England, bring a lot of freezing rain and snow. But you're also getting tight isobars, where you could get some wind still for far northern New England, a little bit for western New York, western Pennsylvania potentially, as this goes into Canada and brings in blizzards as well. Then when that next storm system come in, remember all the cold temperatures come in with it. As you go Tuesday, it comes down, bringing the heavy snow for the South Central, bringing the freezing rain still, and it is going to bring some more storms. But the freezing rain is going to add up, as well as the snowfall showing still almost a foot or more. As it goes by the Southeast for Wednesday morning, bringing freezing rain, snow across Tennessee and Kentucky. Then it pivots still towards the Carolinas, bring a lot of freezing rain, a lot of heavy snow, and right up the Northeast as a strong nor'easter, getting heavy snow, even bringing chances for the blizzards to come with that. Now, the latest run by the HRRR is still showing you can get some cells right in front of this cold front coming down. Real discrete cells. This is the ones you got to watch out for that could spin up and be a strong tornado, everyone. As you go by 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon through Mississippi, then you still could have some QLCS tornadoes in this line of storms as that pushes east, showing as you go to later tonight, 6 and 7 o'clock, not showing a good hint of discrete cells in front of this line like it's been showing. Latest update could change that. Just be aware, right in front of this line is right where you have a good chance for tornadoes also as you go by for tonight. You see how you see those discrete ones popping up for Louisiana? That does stretch into Mississippi as well. But look at these strong cells right in front of this line as that goes later tonight. And the cells do go from northern Mississippi going into Tennessee as well, while you still have all that lift, bringing you chances for tornadoes also. And as you go all night long, not only the chances for the tornadoes, but it's bringing the damage and winds with it. You see you still have the chance for Louisiana going to southern Mississippi. As you go to later tonight, chances for tornadoes, still got the chances for overnight nocturnals. As this goes overnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, you still get some cells going through southern Alabama in front of this linear event that's bringing damage and winds across Tennessee and Kentucky. And for tomorrow morning, you start getting some cells coming right off the Atlantic and feeding right towards North Carolina. You get some loose cells right there that could do a quick spin up as you go by for tomorrow morning. And you do see it does bring some cells right towards the Panhandle of Florida. Not showing a lot on there, but that's where your risk will be as we go towards tomorrow. Chances for a quick spin up as it pushes all those damage and winds all the way towards the east, all the way towards the northeast also, bringing a lot of winds. It's going right up on that high pivot towards the northeast, all the way to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, even New York. bring you a lot of damage and winds all the way towards New England. And that's as you go by for Sunday afternoon. And you can see with your significant tornado perimeters as you go through the morning all the way to early in the afternoon. Right when this line starts congealing together, bringing you chances for tornadoes in that line. And then as you go through the afternoon, this is where it really grows for chances for northern Mississippi going into Tennessee, where you get some strong cells as well, plus what's coming off the Gulf into Louisiana and into Mississippi, bringing you some strong cells, bringing you chances for tornadoes in both of those areas as you go through the evening. Then still overnight, still have chances for tornadoes to pop up in front of that line of storms. And as you go by for tomorrow morning all the way towards Florida and Georgia, bringing chances for tornadoes. Not showing really good on this model run, but it is where you have your best chance to get some. And you do have them over here building for North Carolina as you get those cells coming right off the Atlantic, and it could do a quick spin up as that passes by. But this has gotten worse, even growing with the enhanced section. Even the chances for significant severe tornadoes has grown. Everyone in this yellow and this black section, be aware for chances of EF2 or greater tornadoes for today, plus your 2% and your 5%. Here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for today. The white and yellow line on top is your chances for your biggest and strongest tornadoes. Now the wind is still a big 30%, but it has not stretched over too far. I'm showing still is going to pick up and be very strong winds all the way to the coast. So here's your cities and states at risk for the damage and wind threat for today. And the hail threat is a smaller threat, and I'm still showing that stretching into Tennessee and Alabama as well. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for today. I will show you what I found. National Weather Service has severe weather is expected from East Texas and Mid-South into much of the Southeast. Scattered to numerous damage and wind gusts, and a few tornadoes are the primary threats. Storms are expected from late afternoon through the overnight hours still. Now they are expecting some supercells from northern Louisiana into western Tennessee as well, all the way to the early evening, just like I showed you, all the way to northern Mississippi. But given the strength of the wind field, that's where you have a best chance for a strong tornado to pop up, everyone. And then look for tomorrow. We still have our severe weather risk, but we do have chances for tornadoes in the areas where I showed you, from Florida into Georgia and from North Carolina into Virginia going towards southern Maryland. So here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for tomorrow. Now you don't have Maryland on there, but you do see how far it does stretch. And the wind threat for tomorrow showing it's a 5%. I'm showing it's a lot bigger of an area, but so far here's your cities and states at risk for that. Showing your chances for hail will grow through northern Louisiana, Arkansas, going from Mississippi, Tennessee, all the way into Kentucky for chances for hail on these storms. And look how you go through the overnight hours, still goes through Mississippi, Alabama, and then it goes southern, right through Georgia, right through the Panhandle of Florida. Strongest over here for northern Mississippi, eastern Arkansas, going to Tennessee and Kentucky. And still showing the winds will continue to pick up as it goes towards the east and towards the northeast. We're talking about a lot of strong winds here, picking up anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour wind gusts, all the way from Louisiana and Mississippi, look, coming right off the Gulf as well, all the way across Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, and really strengthens as it goes by the Carolinas, Virginia, and towards Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Changes those 50s into 60s, even the higher elevations may be getting the 70s. According to today's Triple R, showing it will get heavier over here for Wisconsin as that goes through from Michigan, eastern Michigan, even Detroit. You could see a major snowstorm anywhere from 6 inches towards 9 inches. And look how that pivot took it all the way to Indiana, into Ohio, bringing y'all some snowfall as well as Kentucky. Going across the northern Appalachians and through the northeast, bringing a lot of snow in this first snowstorm, even a foot still for northern New England, and bringing 2 feet into Canada. That next snowstorm is coming right behind this, bringing even heavier snow for y'all in the northeast. But still showing a glaze of freezing rain through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio before you get that snowstorm on the wraparound. So just be aware of that, everyone. And as it goes out through the northeast, bring a lot of freezing rain towards eastern Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, a little bit of northern Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, with a light glaze of sleet as well. But you see where the ice is starting to build up from Vermont, New Hampshire.
Sand gets big, but when the water coming rocks. Do you smell how loud a rock? Isn't the rock cooking chitlins? I saw the now, but it's forgiven. Prophecy, I see the rain, how you're persistent, remorseful, but let me get rid of the plug. Guilt like a drug, chosen, tell me, do you love me? Then feed my sheep. Do you love me? Feed my sheep. Do you love me? Feed my sheep. You know, we've been crying on one knee, not just the vibe. We depression storms rejected that holds protection. Although flesh is the naked in the mind until violence not excluded.
A little bit of western Massachusetts going through Maine. I think you still will get that ice. And the rainfall is getting heavier as well. You have a big area all the way from Arkansas through southern Ohio and West Virginia. This hot spot over here for western Tennessee going through Kentucky, this is anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. Even right there in the center, you're starting to go towards 6 and 7 inches. Showing the heaviest is a 9 inches right there for western Kentucky. So for today, you still have the marginal, you have the slight risk, you got the moderate level risk for all that flooding, but now you got that high risk still for western Tennessee going through western Kentucky for that heavy amount of flooding I just showed you. And they did an update on how much snowfall you're going to get on this first snowstorm as well. So here's your graphic here, your greatest potential for ice accumulation, just like I was screaming yesterday. Now you got some for northern Indiana going to southern Michigan, northwestern Ohio. This could stretch a little bit more. Plus what's coming towards the northeast, you're going to have a lot of freezing rain underneath all this snow. But here's your snow accumulations. All this blue section is going anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, going anywhere from 4 to 6 in this darker blue section, going all the way across northern Ohio, northern Indiana, southern Michigan, and out through the northeast. But for Michigan and the UP and for New England, still have chances from 8 to 12 inches coming across. Be aware of that. Even northern and eastern Michigan, a little bit of the UP, and far northern New England, y'all have chances for 12 to 18 inches and 18 inches plus for far northern Maine. Still can get some of that lake enhancement over here for far northeastern Wisconsin, where you get 6 to 8 inches of snow. Then that next snowstorm coming through right behind that, having you for moderate impacts, 100% in that red, and the yellow over here for Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Arkansas, going through Missouri for that snowstorm coming through. And it gets heavier over here towards the northeast, chances for the moderate impacts. This is going to bring a big snowstorm right after your big rainstorm. Also, the wind chill that can come through on this next cold blast, everyone. So here's your chart, here's your degrees, what you could be in, and far northern upper Midwest, you could be anywhere from -40 all the way to -60-degree wind chills. Be aware that we're talking about minutes outside and you'll get frostbite. The wind chills should reach between 30 below zero and 50 below zero in the northern plains and linger for a few days. It's not just one day, it's what I've been showing y'all. Conditions that cold can lead to frostbite in a matter of minutes. Sub-zero wind chills are likely to reach as far south as Texas, Arkansas, and western Tennessee and Kentucky. So make sure you're aware and ready for those temperatures coming through. Make sure your neighbors are aware and your pets as well, everyone. This is a very nasty cold blast. Bringing a lot of snow coming through all the way towards Missouri. Still showing Missouri is where it's going to pivot and bring you a lot of snow. And go out through the northeast where it's going to bring feet of snow. Plus, look over here for Indiana and Ohio, where you wasn't getting snow before. You have a big blockbuster coming. Showing a foot all the way from Montana going into Wyoming, where Wyoming can get 2 or 3 feet. Also, the higher elevations going into Colorado, the Rockies, really have a lot of snow coming. But all the way from the central towards the Tennessee, Kentucky Valley, Ohio Valley, anywhere from 6 to 10 inches, and that pivot towards Missouri could bring you over a foot of snow. Now you're talking about Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, getting heavier for major snowstorms, 6 to 9, 6 to 10 inches plus. And when you get a foot potentially as you go by Virginia, West Virginia, towards the northeast, where you get 2 feet plus. Showing 3 feet or more is possible. Still adding up to a lot of freezing rain for the northeast, but on this second snowstorm, still bring a lot of freezing rain towards Oklahoma, Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and pivoting over to Carolinas and Virginia still. Canadian sees the exact same path as a Euro, also showing it's going to be just as heavy, bringing chances for a foot or more to a lot of people. And it's trending all across Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, through the northeast. Maybe even chances for 3 or 4 feet of snow. Maybe some lake enhancement picking up to where you could get 5 feet of snow. And still showing you have that transition of that wintry mix across the south and that freezing rain coming across the south towards the Appalachians, towards the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas, bringing multiple chances for ice storms, everyone, which is going to bring more rainfall across the southeast, towards the Carolinas, where it's going to get that freezing rain and snow, and towards the northeast, bringing a lot of snow because all this heavy precipitation is coming in that. If you're getting 2 inches and just at a 10-to-1 scenario, that's 2 feet. Plus all the heavy flooding that's going to happen along Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and northern Florida. Going towards the Carolinas, bringing the chance for that freezing rain. And you can even see you're starting to get that freezing rain transition going into Ohio right now. So thank you so much for your time today, everyone. I wanted to make sure y'all had the new information. There's a lot of new alerts going on, a lot of new threats. So please make sure you share this video. Let other people see this as well. I will see you again for tomorrow morning. And before I go, a quick word from our Father, Isaiah 12. And in that day I shall say, O Lord, I will praise thee. Though thou wast angry with me, thine anger is turned away, and thou comfortest me. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For the Lord Jehovah is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. Therefore with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation, and in that day shall ye say, Praise the Lord, call upon his name. Declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted. Sing unto the Lord, for he hath done excellent things. This is known in all the earth. Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel in the midst of thee. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. Be careful of these storms. Please check on your neighbors and check on their pets. I can't say that enough. Not only for the severe weather and the storms coming through, dangerous cold temperatures right behind it is going to linger for a few days. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And remember, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and everyone that is around you. And forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe.
Because now things are going to get kind of spicy.
What
better way to prove all these evil detractors wrong? I've got a polygraph set up and a chair, right? It goes in a briefcase. I could take it on a plane. I could be at your house in a couple of days.
How's it going, guys? Last night, something insane happened. I was scrolling YouTube and I saw Steve Cambion was interviewing DSP, and it went so bad. DSP guys got absolutely cooked. If you thought the Side Scrollers interview was bad, that was a softball. I don't think DSP knew who Steve was. Steve is a serious investigator who goes after real grifters, people who pretend to have alien encounters and use that to grift off the public, and it gets pretty bad. You wouldn't believe the links that it goes to. At the beginning, Steve did it right. He asked DSP a few softball questions, and DSP was loving it. He was using the new lessons Kino Casino taught him, and he thought it was going to be easy, but no, not at all. For a long time, DSP was able to seclude himself and ignore all of his criticism, and he could just lie, and he faced no real backlash. Because honestly, if a viewer got upset, he didn't really care to ban him. I mean, it wasn't too much of a loss for him, except some of the tippers. For the most part, though, he would just boot them, and they're a detractor now. That's all there was to it. But Steve is finally able to put DSP in a spot he's never been in and destroys every single one of his lies. It starts off with the softball questions, but I promise you guys, by the end, DSP is absolutely shook. I've never seen him in such a state of despair. It's a sight to see. Make sure you stay to the end on this one.
I've done all the research into you, but I want to hear from you. So you start off as a competitive gamer, mostly Street Fighter, right? And you went all over the country competing with all the best players, right?
That's right. I grew up a fan of video games. I was actually introduced to video games by my uncle at a very young age. He was actually playing like a flight simulator on his computer in the 1980s when I was just visiting his house.
But after that, you sort of, I hate to rush, but we got
That's
so
fine.
much to get through. So after that, you figured out that you could just broadcast yourself before anybody was doing this. Really, you figured out that you could just broadcast yourself playing games. You just put a webcam on a TV and just played like that, right?
Not even that sophisticated. It was actually a super old digital camera that I had from like the early 2000s. It didn't even do HD. It was like a 480p camera. Only did a small 4:3 aspect ratio. So I had to actually angle it to fit my widescreen TV into the shot because it wasn't the proper aspect ratio. So I'm looking at this, and see, I had been into competitive Street Fighter, but I got a really bad lower back injury. I had a severely herniated disc, so I couldn't travel anymore to play Street Fighter. And I was like, I want to get back into games, but I see guys like the AVGN, and I'm like, I wonder if I could do something more than just playing for myself. So one day, just on a whim, I just set up a tripod. I put this old ass camera in front of the TV. I started recording and just basically just saying whatever came to my mind. And it's a teen audience, especially back then on YouTube. It's a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
So what do they want to hear? They want to hear like, swearing constantly, similar to what the AVGN would do. They want to hear comments. They want to hear you talk shit to the people you're playing in video games and stuff like that.
Oh, come on, Phil. Is this your excuse for saying a lot of wacky shit back then?
Oh,
because you still get crap. People find clips that are 15 years old of you saying something like about a girl or like.
Back then, there was absolutely
it was a Wild West.
Exactly. There was cancel culture. It was just like, say whatever you want and see what happens. And that's exactly how I treated it.
When it comes to DSP's back, I'm pretty sure that has been outed as a lie. DSP likes to dry beg a whole lot, if he's just not outright begging. And that's a huge dry beg right there. You stand up, oh goodness, guys, I might need some Advil, just a couple bucks here and there. All it takes is a $2 donation to get DSP, the illustrious DSP, to shout out your name. Isn't that what we all want? But the funny part is, DSP's back has been brought up all the way since his Street Fighter days. You heard him here. He was like, well, I couldn't really go to tournaments. I couldn't drive myself to them because, I had back problems. And a lot of people think that DSP was just far too lazy to drive himself all the way to tournaments. So he would just have John Rambo feel sorry for him, come pick him up, and then take him there. One tournament, DSP asked a whole bunch of people, like, hey, I really need to get to this tournament, but I can't drive there. Someone's gonna take me, please take me to this tournament. But this was around the time DSP was starting to not be liked so much by the entire fighting game community. So nobody was willing to take DSP there. So what happened? Well, DSP still got there. He drove himself. But it just goes to show that, DSP might be milking this just a little bit, just a tad bit, guys. And I've got to mention that I'm so glad Steve called DSP out when he said that, this was just the way the times were when he's talking about how he talked back in his old videos. But DSP has admitted himself now that he would just get incredibly drunk every single day and just blurt out nonsense basically as he was playing games. If you go back, I wouldn't advise it. Why would you do that to yourself? But if you go back and watch all of the old DSP videos, the dude was hammered in basically every single one of them. Do you really think he woke up the next morning, uploaded like 20 or 30 videos and remembered what he said? No, the dude was just off the cuff every single night. But now, since he wants to look good in front of Steve's audience, a completely different niche that could open some eyes to him, just in case if they go look at his history or the thousands and thousands of detractor videos, maybe they'll watch this one. He's like, listen, Steve, this was all my plan. Absolutely all of it. That's what the people wanted to hear. But if you've ever listened to DSP's commentary, one thing he's not very good at is being confrontational. Every time someone confronts him, he just immediately backs down, as you're going to see later in this video. And when it comes to him talking about girls, I really hope he didn't do that. Could you imagine 20-some-year-old DSP's Riz?
I got partnered with a company called Machinima. They started slapping ads on all my videos. I started making money.
That didn't end well, though, did it?
Not much ends well for me, as you know, if you followed my history.
Yeah, you have this, but dude, it's peaks and valleys, right? A lot of the questions I'm going to be asking are coming from viewers, not me. So don't get pissed at me, Dark Side Phil.
No, it's your show. I'm going to hold you personally accountable for everything that happens here tonight.
A lot of people have said to me things like, "This guy has made millions of dollars. Where did it all go?" And I guess especially, you have a degree in finance, so people are kind of, I guess, understandably going like, "This guy has a degree in finance. He's made at least $1 million since he started." But he always needs money, and that's a big criticism, And by the way, I'm on your side. Like, I'm a show. I hate asking for money, so I make a joke of it. Like, I get televangelists clips to ask for the money. What happened to the money?
The thing is,
the money, Phil?
when you're a content creator, right? You're under a different eye of scrutiny. It really is true. Like anyone else who has a small business, they can make money, they can spend money however they want, but it's all kind of behind closed doors, and no one really cares. But
when you're public, yeah.
But when you're someone who puts yourself in front of the public every day, all of a sudden, people start to say, well, it's funny because we know that he did really good, but why does he say he needs more? If he made so-and-so amount, then why is he doing an event where he needs to raise money and yada, yada, yada? So in 2017, I became a full-time live streamer. And then, ad revenue had to go, not really be my source of income anymore. I had to start asking the audience for contributions. That was a huge change for me, a big change. I tried my best for many years to try to maintain, but it got so bad. What it really was, as you had mentioned, it was the credit card debt. Because with those credit cards, even when you're paying minimum payments, they're not going down, and it got so unmanageable. And then on top of that, I basically got to the point where I couldn't even pay that mortgage in Connecticut anymore. And I'm like, what am I going to do? If I stop paying, they're going to foreclose. So I had to go through a bankruptcy. And that's really where the turnaround was. Once I went through that and got all that revolving debt gone and that extra mortgage gone.
Well, this is Phil. This is a source of a lot of the criticism about you is your financial choices. I had a job in corporate finance where I had to look at people's information like this all the time because I was a credit analyst, and so I kind of know probably what happened here. But you're people that are very critical of you. They say things like, I got a lot of messages like this, like, he spent $131,000 in unsecured credit. Like, what did he buy? That's like a house almost. Do you know what all this 131,000 comprised of? Or
it all started when when I moved out here, it was furnishing the house, buying all my new equipment, all of that. So you're talking, tens of thousands of dollars.
You screw up on that, Mr. Finance Major?
I screwed up on so much. I did. Like, first of all, I was basically living on credit that I had gotten when I was a popular YouTuber and was making way more. So I had
your credit was based on a higher income that you had then lost.
Exactly. So here I am sitting with all this credit that I can use, and I'm like, oh, maybe my channel will come back. Maybe things will turn for the better. Maybe I'll be able to sell the condo in Connecticut eventually. Things will turn around. And I'm just kind of like, I hope. Well, you can't live on hope. You got to live on reality, right? But that was me being stupid and being ignorant and being dumb and making bad choices after bad choice after bad choice. So, you start off with, let's say, 20, 30,000 of credit card debt, but then all of a sudden it's going up because you got fees, because you got the interest, and I'm not, I'm making minimum payments, juggling everything. Then you stop paying things.
This is where the interview starts to go south for DSP. He doesn't realize it yet, so he's still jokey. He thinks this is going to go the exact same way the Keno Casino one did, where he would make mistakes and slip up during it, but they're going to hold his hand because they want to make a point that DSP is better than Review Tech USA, just for the meme. That's like the entire reason they did it. And now that Review Tech USA is an absolute lolcow, even lower than DSP, they have no real reason to protect him anymore. That's the real reason this is happening. But is DSP gonna fault his new friends? No, because they're the only people who actually talk to him. It doesn't matter how many times they mess with him on the down low. Oh, they're still his best buddies. And DSP starts lying so hard when he's like, and when it comes to small businesses, you guys just aren't under the same level of scrutiny as us content makers are. I mean, everyone wants to know how much money we're making. It's absolutely insane. And that's such a 2010 mindset. The only reason people focus on DSP's wallet is because DSP makes it such a big factor of his content every single day. The dude's asking his audience like 50, 60, 70 times for them to donate. Don't do super chats most of the time because he needs it tomorrow, because DSP needs to eat, guys. What do you want his wife to do? Cook? She doesn't need to do that. She's got to go to Curls and Twirls. She's got other places to go, better places to be than hanging out with DSP. She's not going to do that for him. He's got a DoorDash, the only option he's really got.
So I had to go through the bankruptcy. It was like the only way out, really. I was trying for years to avoid it, and then I was basically at my breaking point. You know?
Well, yeah. When you realize you have 130,000 in unsecured credit cards, it's going to take you 27 years to pay it back or whatever.
Right.
One of the big criticisms about you is you're constantly asking for support, constantly asking for money, and I don't know. I've been observing some of this. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever been diagnosed with being on the spectrum or having...
When I was growing up, that stuff, no one ever talked about any of that stuff at all. I doubt that a single doctor would have ever even like done a test or measured anything like that when I was growing up, unless you were like showing overt signs outward of stuff like that. No one ever talked about that stuff. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe there is and maybe there isn't. I wouldn't know.
Well, I think, you know, and I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just an observer here, an outsider looking in, but it seems to me that you have a little bit of trouble, like comprehending social norms. Like, for example, like, do you have a perception of like how many times during an average stream that you ask for support or money? Because that's one of the big criticisms too. Like,
do I count? No, I do not, because it's actually
can it take a guess?
It's directly proportionate to how much support I got during that stream. You know what I mean?
All right. So if you don't get support, you ask for it more. That's what you're saying.
Ask and you shall receive.
Did you know there's a whole YouTube channel dedicated just to counting the number of times that you ask for money in a stream?
Absolutely. There's entire like networks programs written to count the amount of times I say a single word in all of my content ever on YouTube.
And there's an entire. Did you know there's an entire search engine called PigPigGo?
Yeah, exactly.
Where you can search by keyword, but
that's right.
Listen, I'm trying to help you here. I really am, because I understand why people are like, you know, saying this stuff. When you were playing Dark Souls, you asked for money 62 times. When you were playing Light Razzing, I don't know. He makes plays on words on the games you were playing. You asked for money 85 times. You tested a mic, and then you begged for money 31 times while testing the mic. And this one is just greed mode, beg count 58. Successful streamer begged 78 times. And I'm not going to play these videos because they're very disparaging. They like make you have a huge head and try to make it funny. Popeyes felt it, beg count 100. So to eat Popeyes, you begged for money 100 times. Flight Simulator, you begged for money 111 times. But I'm just wondering, like, do you realize that you ask for money that many times in one stream?
Well, first off, I've never watched any of this content, to make it clear. I don't actually know how truthful that is. I
went through with counter, Phil. He's right. I mean, unless he's like AI, he's got like CIA level AI to make these clips of you asking for money. All I'm
saying is I'm answering this question in perspective of I have no clue if anything that a detractor puts on their channel about me is true or not. All I can ask is from my perspective, right? I haven't seen that content. I can't really respond to it. But no, I mean, I do ask for contributions basically as soon as I start my podcast, and if we're talking about how I did the day before, I'll mention you know, how we did, and I'll say, hey, let's hit the goals today. We have some goals in place. Here's the rewards coming up. If we have a reward that's scheduled, we'll talk about that.
I have to say, Phil, regardless of whether you call them a detractor, they're factually accurate.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's the problem. They're factually accurate.
Here's the thing. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's a perception. Some people think it's a problem.
Don't you think some of the stuff is cringe, though? Like, for example,
of course it's cringe. It's meant to be cringe.
It's meant to be
over the top and cringe.
Phil,
that's the whole idea.
Was it last night or the night before that you were like, we got to hit this goal because I don't know if I can order Arby's?
That's right. You got to get the Arby's next time. You got to get it. My wife's coming home from work. She doesn't want to cook. Let's get the Arby's.
This is kind of a deflection, though.
Steve was so right when he was like, DSP, you have zero social awareness. At this this was a D&D game, Fallout, something like that, DSP rolled a 0 in that category. Absolutely none. You can tell right there, since he couldn't even see that the interview was about to turn south very hard, because who even asked that question? It's super rude. And it also came out of nowhere, but DSP had to really think about it. He's like, well, let me tell you the honest answer here, Steve. I'ma say no, because it just wasn't looked at back then. I mean, it's entirely possible. And he showed this trait every time he's actually talked to real people, besides the casino, like I mentioned earlier, because of the hand holding they do for him. But when it was at the Side Scroller podcast, DSP would get roasted by Adam. And all he would say is, you know what, Adam? I can see your point there. I disagree with you. I'm gonna lie right to your face, and I'm gonna pretend I'm not lying to you, even though you're calling me out for it. But I do respect your opinion. Now, can you be a little bit nicer to me next time? Thank you. And he goes on to his show the very next day. He's like, Side Scrollers went great, guys. I'm gonna go back, until they did their next show dunking on DSP. Then he's like, wait, those guys aren't my friends? They thought I was weird? This is unbelievable. I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind. And he ended up giving Craig a piece of his mind. Even though Craig was gonna let DSP back into his friend group, which would have been so good for the dude. But at the very end, DSP couldn't contain himself. And he's like, oh, hey, Craig, guess what? F you. And there, DSP ruined another relationship, as he's gonna do here, because, let's be honest guys, DSP could be honest right now. That's the main problem with this dude in his entire career. He lies about small, stupid things. If he would just make a joke out of some of it, but he had to do that a long time ago, DSP wouldn't get near the level of scrutiny. But it's just the small things he says, like, no, I never played WWE Champions. I never did anything like that. Even though now he's admitted it, and we all know he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on WWE Champions. But guess what, guys? The Down from the Raptors account, it's not his. He's got a different WWE Championship account, and he also plays more of a different game this time as well. You detractors just have it all wrong. You're right, but you're wrong at the same time. And oh my gosh, can you believe DSP asked for money 110 times during a stream? I get it, flight simulators have to be incredibly boring, but are you really sitting there just going, hey guys, give me money. Hey guys, give me money. What are you, Mr. Krabs or something, bro? The penny pinching is absolutely insane. Like, who cares if your donations are a little bit low each and every stream? We know you're doing all right, Phil. You're not kicked out of your house or anything. You've never showed up with just your phone live streaming your face like, hey guys, you know, power's out, the bills haven't been paid. Do you know how often that happens with other lolcows? Bad things happen to them all the time, but you do incredibly well for yourself. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a mobile game throughout the years. I mean, yeah, what is that, 20, 30K per year? That is insane numbers. You could buy a car each and every year with your mobile spendings. That is ridiculous. How does it get to that point? And there's no reward there. I just can't understand mobile addiction. It's literally just dumping your money into nothing. We watched Boss Man Jack just a few days ago. If you want, you can go check out that video. But at least at the end of the day, there's some money coming his way. I mean, not a lot because he spends it all, but there's something. DSP gets nothing out of mobile games. And it's other people's money. I mean, technically it's his. He can do what he wants with it as soon as they give it to him. But DSP is asking for it for certain things, and people have expectations when you ask for you to give them money for a certain thing. Could you imagine if your family member was like, hey, can you give me $100 so I can go to the grocery store because I really need it? I'm in a desperate situation. And you do that. And then you come back and then you see they bought like $2 menu hamburgers and the rest is just like a bunch of alcohol or something. You would be furious. You'd probably never give them money again, and you might not talk to them again.
Like, what if I was on my show and I said, I'd like to order pizza for my kids because I don't feel like cooking, but I need to get $50 in super chats first.
Okay.
I would never do that because I would think that is so cringy.
Well, that's different. Do you know the context of me actually ordering Arby's? Because it's not me just ordering dinner for my family. That's actually not what it is.
No, then you do the review of 3 sandwiches. Come on.
Right. Yeah, which is an ongoing series I've been doing for over a decade.
Because in some of this stuff, it's kind of, like I said, it's cringy, right? Like,
Sure. Purposefully so, yes.
You saying that you do that on purpose? You make
Yes,
it cringy
absolutely.
on purpose?
It's hammed up. It's hammed up on purpose. I'm not. Do you really think it's a big deal if I had Arby's on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday? It doesn't matter. It's just you jam it up. You make people get motivated to do it. That way we get it, right? As opposed to if everything's never a big deal and you don't hype anything up, then who's gonna have incentive to ever care about it? You know, I'm a crowdfunded individual. So you got to hype up these events. We're gonna do a DSP Tries It.
So if your position is that you're doing this on purpose to make it cringy and you're laughing about it's a joke, but some people in your live chat really don't know that you're joking and they might think that
No.
You Phil, you basically say this is great. It's such a grift, but it's grifty. You basically say like, if I don't get tips, I can't buy groceries, and I may be subjected to have to eat a lunch meat sandwich on my day off. I won't even be able to get takeout food.
And who wants to do that on their day off?
But you're putting that on the audience. You're putting it on the audience.
First off, I'm trying to remember that specific situation because I don't actually remember what the heck that situation was. If you're wondering why I'm saying tips, it's because tips I get immediately, so I can actually spend it on something right away.
This is you asking for support. And I don't know, let's get your reaction.
It's really great if you can support the stream tonight in any way. It's critical if you guys support the content in whatever way you can. Really, if I don't get support on these, it sucks. That means that I'm not making anything on the videos. If you'd like to support my final stream in any way, I would give you a shout out. Last chance, if you'd like to support the stream in any way, I would appreciate it. And I would
Phil, would it really be the end of the world if you had two streams in a row where you didn't hit some goal that you have?
Today, no. Back then, and some of these older clips, because those are clips that are way out of context from like during the bankruptcy and stuff. Yeah, it actually would have, because I was living paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes I was living stream to stream. The way that I asked is in a different way. Allow me to explain. Back then, as you saw in the older clips where you noticed webcams fuzzy, quality shit. That was when I was going
Later clips in here too, though.
Yeah,
More
those are.
recent.
I don't want it to be like that anymore. All right, that's why I'm not gonna put best streaks down here on the leaderboard, and we're gonna start counting. We're not gonna do that, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I once again the 4th straight stream, 4 in a row. I received a $150 tip.
You really think that it's a benefit for your audience to see you put on a vest or put on a hat or eat a sandwich? Like that's what you're rewarding them with? I don't get it. By the way, I'm an outsider looking in. Maybe that's normal.
Did you know that I don't do that stuff anymore? Not the sandwich. We've already talked about DSP Tries It. Are you aware those goals don't exist anymore? They were phased out.
Phil, on Smart Show this week, you made people give you money so that you could eat snacks on Smart.
There is a distinct difference because what you'll notice. By the way, I don't know if you know we're tiny. I don't know if you know that. But
here, I'll fix it.
There's a distinct difference between years ago when I was actually financially distraught, legitimately financially distraught, okay? And I'm on my stream and I'm saying, please support the stream today. I literally need tips. I even said things like, don't send me super chat. Don't become a member. I need tips today because I need the money for tomorrow to do something, right? And I'm saying, it's a negative unless you support. Say, if you support me enough, I'll give you positive. That's a different kind of reinforcement that I'm earning and I will institute in my content. So,
groceries, mortgage, day off.
That's fine.
You can't ask for money for your day off. You can't ask for money for your day off because that's a little crazy.
So Phil says his mobile addiction isn't that bad anymore. In fact, it was far worse back in the day, and I can only imagine that it had been around the time he was going through bankruptcy or the lead up to it, and since Phil was probably stressing a little bit and this seems to be his out besides drinking tons of gin, he was probably doing a little bit of mobile gaming. And he claims that he had a far worse addiction to Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I'm pretty sure that's what the game's called, and WWE Supercard. If he was living paycheck to paycheck during that time, or as he says, stream to stream, he was definitely begging a little more than he should, probably a whole lot more than he should, because he was getting so much money around then, guys. People were spending thousands of dollars donating to this guy. He had someone someone spend like $2,000 to reveal his cat, and I'm probably lowballing that number. I'm pretty sure I am. He was getting so much around this time, and shortly after that, the best streak started up where he was getting $150 every single time he went live. And DSP goes live 2 times a day, so that means he was getting $300 in tips every single day, on top of subscriptions, on top of bits. DSP has never had a money problem, except probably towards the beginning of his bankruptcy and towards the end of it. Also, it can't go unmentioned that Phil knows what he's doing when it comes to his audience. He's playing them for a fool each and every time he goes live. When he says, hey guys, I need to get food today, I need money for groceries, or I need to get some fast food to feed my wife, he knows that puts his donators in a position where they need to donate now, not tomorrow like they may have planned. They've got to do it right now. And his excuse that he's just hamming it up, they know it's a joke. Well, if you're going to ham it up and provide benefits for your audience, when you have something that, I don't know, benefits them a little bit, like some multiplayer streams with them or something like that, instead of, yeah, I just need some groceries tomorrow to eat, guys, and maybe I'll do a DSP tries it if you vote enough. I am a little hungry right now, and we'll think about it.
Because now things are going to get kind of spicy. So I have one post-it note here. Can anybody read what that says? It says polygraph test. It says polygraph test. I don't know if you know this. Ashton from Kino knows it, and Andy Worski know it, but I have a polygraph machine, and I'm basically certified polygrapher. So for the rest of tonight's broadcast, I'm going to ask you to answer all the questions truthfully. And then after the show, I'd be willing to come to you and administer a polygraph to make sure you're answering the following questions from here on in truthfully. And failing that, I happen to find a retired FBI polygrapher that lives right in your area, and he's kind of friendly with me. He's done a job for my show before. He's in Seattle, so he could just easily drive to where you are and administer the polygraph either at your house or at a hotel. We'll put you on a polygraph and ask you that question again and verify that you've been telling the truth this entire time and you haven't lied about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great idea. And if you don't agree to this, it doesn't look good for you.
My viewers, my supporters, the people who actually like me, who are on my streams every day, who watch my content, who support me via all these contributions, right? Don't give 2 flaming shits about anything that my detractors have issue with me. They don't. They know all about all the controversies. They've heard my answers. They're happy with them. You understand? They don't give a shit. In fact, if I bring it up on my streams, they get upset. Why are you bringing that up? You know we don't care.
People that are in your corner would say, like, look, he passed a polygraph. Those bank leaks weren't his spending. This is a non-issue anymore.
The people that are in my corner are in my corner and don't care. Like I said, they literally don't want to talk about this shit ever again. They're done with it. This stuff is the bankruptcy stuff is 5 years in the past. Listen, you want to talk about criticize me and how I ask for contributions today? Fine. I will accept that, sure. But we're talking about stuff that's done. That's been rehashed, done. It's done with. The reason my detractors keep bringing it up is because it makes them money.
Very honest with you, Phil. I don't think that you'll pass either polygraph, and that's why you won't take it.
That's
I don't think you can pass a polygraph
Hold on.
based on the evidence that I found, and we're gonna show it to the audience tonight.
Did I say no yet?
You can't. Well, let's go.
Did I say no yet?
Make the decision.
I'm explaining to you.
Shit or get off the pot. There's a road to redemption right here.
They're coming to my streams every day to enjoy games and to hang out. They don't care about any of
Don't
this
you think that
drama
your
shit
supporters would like knowing that you didn't blow thousands of dollars on a mobile game?
I already told them
they were giving you money the whole time? You don't think they would benefit from that?
I've already fessed up that I did. I already cleared all that up. It's already happened.
Well, I guess in fairness, you may be right.
Really think that I want people contacting my
and here
attorney?
I just want to show you this because I have a lawyer. I have a lawyer in my family. So he's written a non-disclosure agreement between you and I, which basically stipulates that if whatever records you show with me, I'm only going to use to confirm or deny if you're telling the truth about all of this.
Okay, but what's the point?
The point is to prove that you've been telling the truth, because I don't think you have been about the bank leaks specifically.
And I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
Does it?
So you don't care?
No, I don't. I don't
Wow.
care. I don't. I really don't. Like, I'm a content creator who sits down and makes gaming content, streams, chill content for his audience.
DSP got so shook when Steve brought up the polygraph test. If he would have just did a little bit of research, the bane of Phil's existence, research, or just putting a little bit of effort into anything, he would have realized that Steve, he deals with these alien grifters who he has to polygraph test all of the time, who unfortunately always come up lying. It's such a shame that these alien grifters, something that we'd all like to believe in, extraterrestrials or something like that, are all these terrible people who claim they've had these experiences just to get money off of people they find lesser than them. And it just so happens that Phil does the exact same thing, except he just plays video games on stream. But also, let's be honest here, guys, if Phil would have just took this advice and said, you know what, I am going to get a polygraph test because this could prove everything wrong. Could you imagine if Phil had like a 25-year expert on a polygraph test come to his house and he was just telling the truth about everything? What could people really say about him then? Anyone who wants to be on Phil's side from there on out could just point to it and say, well guys, you're being ridiculous at this point because a professional came over and proved you all wrong. And Phil would have so many more opportunities, more than he has right now. Let's face it, Phil has had a lot of opportunity here recently. That's the whole reason he's doing Steve's podcast at the moment, because he felt safe. He felt like the top dog in the game for the moment. Doesn't take much for Phil to get an ego. But back to the polygraph test, I mean, Phil just blatantly says to it, you know what, Steve, I don't care about it. You know, my fans don't care about it. His fans would be so hyped if they could just rub it in everyone's face like, look, we was the right ones. DSP's actually a good guy. You guys all just suck. You hate on people for no reason. And then there would be tons of people coming to DSP streams, sending him donations. Tons of them. You guys know it would happen. Like, oh, look, Phil, you was right. I hate to say it, but you was right. But he can't do that. He knows if someone came over there and put a polygraph test on him, they would prove all the detractors right. Everything he says is a lie. That's basically Phil's entire existence. And right now, after this interview, Phil is having it rough right now. He is jumping in circles every time someone asks him about it. I mean, his own fans are asking him about this interview. And what does Phil say? Oh, they don't care about it. Maybe you underestimated your fans just a little bit, Phil. You know, they do have a brain and can think for themselves. And you having the grand opportunity to prove all of your trolls wrong and not taking it looks really, really bad.
I don't think that you're being honest with your viewers or the world in general about these bank leaks based on the information that I found in my investigation in these past couple of weeks.
The entire thing, bank leak stuff is fake. There was no bank leaks that ever happened to me. That whole thing was fabricated by my detractors. I don't even know what information they got or who they got it from, but it wasn't me. Can you show them on stream? Can you prove that those are real?
And just so you're aware, Phil, I did analyze them, and I can show them on stream right now and prove that they're real. I don't believe that you've been honest about the bank leaks. I think you lied about a lot of that. You don't want your detractors to know how much you've been spending on gin and wine and DoorDash and a WWE game.
Why would it matter?
Or let's get to the bank leaks especially. You say they're fake.
Hold on.
Phil,
Why would it
in
matter?
order for them to be fake, the person that faked them would have to know what kind of car you drive, who your internet service provider is, who your electric company was, who your garbage company was, what their monthly charge was at the time of the bank leaks for people living in your area at the time of those leaks. They'd have to know what restaurants you eat at and when you ate at them. They'd have to know when and where your wife gets haircuts. They'd have to know what your local water company was and what you pay them every month. They'd have to know when you go to Burger King. The odds of somebody knowing all that information, it's like it would take a 007 CIA operative to fake these. You say I went to Burger King and the Burger King charge is there on that day or the day before. You say I'm getting a haircut. 8 times somebody caught you saying you're getting a haircut, and those haircuts are on the bank leaks. And do you understand that the person that did that is a retired police officer? Come on, what are we going to do here?
So are you done now, or do you have more to say about the bank leaks? I'll respond to all of it when you're done.
Well, the reason that people are so upset, you can see in these charts, it shows that you spent more on transactions most month than your mortgage payment while you're begging your audience for money for your bills.
That wasn't my question. My question is, are you done talking about the bank leaks so that I can respond and we can move on?
No, yeah, I can show you more evidence. I can show you more evidence. Curls and twirls. Is that your wife, Phil?
No.
On the website? You're going to say that's not her? Do I got to get a facial recognition expert to show that's her?
I don't think that's her.
Where to get your hair cut, Phil? Where to get your hair cut?
I'm not going to tell you because then people are going to
You can't tell me because you get your hair cut at Curls and Twirls.
I think you got me on something. It's all good. And I'm
Oh,
actually
I got you, Phil. I
And
got
I'm
you.
actually-
I
I'm
haven't even
actually-
started on these bank leaks.
I want
There's a
you to-
mountain of evidence that it's you.
Steve, I want you to understand something, all right? At the end of the day, when we're done here, I'm not going to be upset with you at all. I want you to understand that, okay? I can't say where I get my hair cut because if I tell you, they will person who cuts my hair. Do you understand that? They'll find them. They'll still. They're public
All right,
information.
so can you show me the
They'll arrest-
receipts to where you get your hair cut during the bank leaks period that wasn't Curls and Twirls then, privately?
Steve,
That's the problem.
Number
Your
one.
detractors have receipts. You don't have any receipts, Phil. You have excuses and lies
there's
and
no
obfuscation. You're trying to
Okay.
keep the grift going. I get it.
That is so amazing. What a way to get outed. The fact that DSP and his wife go to this barbershop and the barbershop just so happened to take a picture of Kat, DSP's wife, and put a picture of her on their website, and that's what basically outs Phil for all of his bank leaks. That is absolutely insane, the coincidences there. And Phil is still gonna try to deny it all. Like, it's all true at this point, everybody. Steve has basically broken every one of Phil's lies. How is he gonna lie about this? Everything lines up at this point. How are you gonna spend more on Apple charges than you are your mortgage? And your total wine bills equal more than your bills every single month. And let's not even mention the DoorDashes that you're getting. Phil is pretending to be poor so that people will give him money, and he's just living a lavish life. His lavish, lazy life that he loves. When Phil says, I used to drink a lot and I didn't care about people at all, do you really think Phil has changed one bit? I don't personally. I know a majority of the detractors don't either. When Phil gets off camera, he hates every single one of his viewers, and he's just chugging gin, playing mobile games, and laughing at the people who gave him so much money and have believed his lies for so many years. That's why Phil is one of the worst lolcows out there. He's a really boring person most of the time. When things like this come out, it just proves that DSP is a lolcow, and not only a lolcow, one of the worst who actually has fans and manipulates every single one of them. Phil would do decent on live streams every single day because at this point his fans are conditioned to give him a lot of money, so it'd probably continue so he doesn't have to beg like this.
I'm trying to do you a solid with this appearance. I really am. I'm hoping that you're going to get a nice boost of attention on your content because of this. I do. You're going to have an issue having future guests come on your show if you yell at people like this. You understand? Like,
I'm not yelling at you. I'm not
You
yelling
are.
at
Oh, you absolutely have been yelling at me, and I'm not. Just so you know, I'm not upset. All right, but you are very agitated.
Oh, well, then I apologize. I get agitated when people talk circles and they don't answer the questions.
Okay.
They make
So-
excuses. You're making
so-
excuses. You're not answering the question. I'll let you answer, but let's go. I got more to show you.
And you can confirm it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How?
Because
You
of the correlations between things you mentioned on your show
No.
and
That's
the
not what I'm asking.
charges.
That's
and
not
the
what I'm
charges.
asking. That's not what I've asked at all. I'm not
Phil-
asking you if you think that could be my information. I'm saying, can you confirm that call?
Well, not 100%, but the preponderance of the evidence can confirm.
There you go. You can't confirm it's real. That's
Here you
fair
are.
enough.
Here you are crying about Burger King.
No, we're not done yet.
Here you are crying about Burger King, and there's a Burger King charge at the same time on the bank leaks. Is that a coincidence?
I'm trying to answer you, and you're already moving on and talking over me. You understand why you're gonna have a hard time getting guests moving forward.
I don't have a hard time getting guests.
What you're implying here is that I'm like some kind of a degenerate gambler who like would say, I need the money, and I would go
Well,
bet.
a lot of people are
You know what
addicted
I'm
to
saying?
games. It's not something to be ashamed of.
Oh, I know. No, but Steve, I've talked about this about my past. That actually before this WWE Champions thing, I was actually way more addicted to a different game called WWE Supercard and Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. That those two, I was actually spending way more on than I ever spent on WWE Champions. Okay, so I know all about the addictive nature of overspending and all of that, and I have publicly admitted I've done it.
You're telling people you don't have money to buy food, and you spent 40 grand on a mobile game. That matters. It goes directly to your integrity.
What are you talking about? You literally, so here's the problem. You are completely extrapolating the situation. You're acting like on one stream I said I need money for groceries, and then immediately I took all that money and spent it on a mobile phone. That never happened. Never. If I asked for money for something, I spent it on what I needed it for. And then maybe I spent money on other stuff as well. That has nothing to do with, oh, he blew it all on the mobile game, that's why he needed more money. No, that's ridiculous.
Out of 8 times, they accurately guessed when you were getting a haircut and put it on those bank leaks. And they made the fake recording of the teller talking about the haircuts.
Yes, not yes, but they already know because they talk about it publicly on every stream. You're just throwing insane amounts of stuff out here, right?
It's called evidence. You don't have any. We have lots to get through.
But
that's the problem.
Steve, listen to me. Please listen to me. All you're doing is throwing things, right? I try to respond, and as I'm responding, you move on to something else.
You haven't adequately explained the correlations. Yeah, you're right. But you lied about when you said that you talked to them previously and they said they would only investigate you. You lied about that. Our retired law enforcement officer friend here, he's here. And
wait a minute. That's not what are you talking about?
He spoke to the detective that you talked to. You said in the Side Scrollers interview that sometime prior to the bank leaks, you didn't file a police report. By the way, your bank would have. Did you know, my wife, I mentioned she was an accountant. Do you know what she did? She worked in the fraud department at Beneficial Savings Bank for 20 years. And she told me that you, Phil, said that these people got access to multiple of your accounts. The bank itself is required by federal law and banking regulations to file a police report.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
So, hold on a second. So you're saying that I'm lying completely about the bank account? Like I still have this bank account, it's real, and it's still open and
honestly, Phil, I'm losing track of your lies. I don't know what you've lied about because you lie about a lot of stuff.
You're bringing up 10 points, and every time I try to address one, you move on to another, so I can't address any of your points.
So I think you never reported any of this to your bank. You just got a new bank account and moved on. That's what I believe.
So you're saying I manually closed the bank account?
I don't know what happened. I know that if you would have reported fraud to your bank, they were required by federal banking regulations and federal law to fill out police reports.
I don't care about any of this.
Right, so, but Phil.
Listen to me, please guys, both of you. I want you to understand something.
Sure.
So many people on the internet have said so many negative things about me over the years. It doesn't matter what's true or not. It doesn't matter what I can prove.
It does, though.
It will never make me look better. Do you understand?
It's so funny that Phil tries to weasel his way out of this by being like, listen, Steve, I just want you to know something. You are never going to get another guest in your entire life. Just look at the way you're treating me. If you actually get someone else to come on your stream, they're going to know you're going to treat them like this. But it's like, no, Phil, you're one of the very few people in the world who would get an interview like this. People want to know what's been going on because you've been lying about it for so long. So it's not a super big mystery into why Steve did this. He dislikes people who lie to their fans and scam people for money, and that's exactly what you do. The other people who's going to be coming onto a show are going to be treated with a lot more respect unless they do the same stuff that you do. And did you guys notice the way DSP acted in the beginning of this interview compared to how he's acting towards the end? In the beginning, everything was a joke. Yeah, we joke all the time now on my channel. I'm just like, hey, I need some food. Please give me money. And they do. Everyone gets a good laugh out of it, Steve, and we move on. And that's how he was trying to conduct the interview. Like, you got it, Steve. You know exactly what's going on. You're a content creator, too. You beg for money 110 times per stream like all of us do. You get it. And now towards the end, this is the exact way DSP talked a long time ago before he met Kino Casino, around the time he went into the first Side Scrollers interview. Everything's so secretive, and when someone's telling me, hey, you can't confirm if it's true, so that means it's false. You're the person who knows the answer to these questions. It's either true or it's not true. And when you don't give a solid answer and you're relying on the fact that no one has solid evidence, I'm gonna assume that you're guilty. This isn't the court of law, this is the court of opinion. Sometimes you can be not 100% 100% guilty and you can get off in the court, and you could have still committed that action. But in the court of opinion, when most people think you did something, well, they're not going to let you off so easy, Phil, and that's exactly where you're at. Alright, I guess that's enough for me today, guys, but I want to mention real quick, shout out to Only Ice Pepsi. You guys should definitely go over to his channel and check out the live stream that he did last night, because one of DSP's old detractors got exposed super hard. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys, but you definitely need to go check that out. And make sure to check out the Barnyard tomorrow on the Leaping Lemurs channel, featuring myself and my co-host, the Leaping Lemur, where we're going to be covering the Ravens-Dolphin incident. It is one of the craziest things to happen all year. I know the year hasn't been going on very long, but February has been a crazy month, and you guys have got to check it out tomorrow. But besides all that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and follow the socials down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Oh, and shout out to Steve Cambion.
Basketball.
Jump shot for the right corner is on the money.
There's no reason to be scared.
How's it going, homies? I hope you all had a great Christmas. I know I had a pretty good one. Did you get some gifts? Give out some gifts? I can tell you one person who got the best gift of all time. Well, at least in their own mind, it's the best gift. And that's Cyrax, because that 2 months away he spent, it's completely changed his mindset. He's came back and it's like we've all rolled the red carpet out for him. And he's gonna come and deliver the show for us that we've all wanted. Except Cyrax doesn't really know what the people wants, because he's still just as deluded as he was last time, because no one is a fan of Cyrax, no one really cares, all they want to do is sit back and laugh, and still yet, Cyrax is able to give us that, because he has no idea what he's really talking about. He just wants to say things so that we might forgive him, But is anyone gonna forgive Cyrax when they know everything that he's done? No, no one is. Like right now, Cyrax thinks he's at the peak of his life. He thinks everything's went away, no one's gonna mess with him anymore. But like we all know, like everyone else but him, this is just the beginning of his cycle. Next week, he's gonna be on someone else's panel, probably the panel we all expect him to be on, causing chaos, making his grandma mad. Sally's gonna storm up there, and then he might go silent again because apparently she had a great threat against him. I don't know what she said to Cyrax, but it kept him away for a long time. But that doesn't matter anymore. Cyrax has a show to do on Christmas Eve, and it doesn't matter what all the haters, his grandma says, he's gonna put it on for the real ones, the true and honest fans. So let's see what Cyrax has in store for us on this fine Christmas Eve morning of his.
It's been a long time since I spoke on some very serious topics that need to be spoke about. You see, 7 years ago I went through hell. 7 years later, 2 months to the day, I made it out. Over the last few days, I've been seeing a lot of motherfuckers run their mouths, talking about how I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Oh, you do this, but you don't do that. Oh, you say you're doing this, but you ain't doing that. I see a lot of people saying that, oh, I got a big ass ego. Well, let me ask you this. Do I really have a big ass ego? Or is it just me knowing my motherfucking worth? Because personally, unlike y'all motherfuckers that run your mouths, I know my worth. I know my worth. I know my value. And let me tell you, I will not settle to the bottom like little bottom beater scumbag trolls.
I will never not find it funny when Cyrax makes a video stating that he's came back, he's beat the trolls for staying away, and now he's returned, and he's not going to do it like last time. Even though these videos just mean Cyrax has came back, everyone's going to start messing with him again, just prodding at him, and it's all going to turn into chaos. It's so wild he can't realize, and he even states it in the video, that as soon as he comes back, he sees people are running their mouth. Of course you do, Cyrax. This is just the beginning. This is what they want. They're already getting their call-outs. It doesn't matter you do it now or just a week from now. It's all going to end up the same. You just can't help yourself. But is he going to stop? No, because he's got to figure it out this time. And you think him figuring it out would be okay. If he gets in a lot of trouble, he can just weasel away for a few months. But we all know that's not it. He didn't like that option. And it's going to be even dumber than you guys could even imagine. We just gotta wait to see what Cyrax has up his sleeves for the next go around. And yes, Cyrax, I'ma say you have a huge ego. When you're the man who's only made like $150, $180 on the internet, coming back and telling us all, you need to know your worth because Cyrax knows his and it's through the roof. But in all reality, it's like $180, that's your worth. Through like a decade or longer, most people wouldn't find that valuable at all. You could probably just walk through the streets and find that amount of money in the same amount of time. Did I say probably? I mean, you most definitely could. It would be a far better hobby of yours, Cyrax. Just swerve around the streets, picking up change here and there. I mean, what better is there to do? I've always said he would be like Akron's 37th best scrapper. You know, he'd have his little wagon, he'd walk up and down the streets. People just, hey, there's that guy. Doesn't matter if you praise him or you miss him, he'll take it gladly. And that could have been your skill. That could have been the one thing you had going for you. But no, Cyrax, he's gonna make the music, he's gonna race, and is he gonna earn a dime off of it? Well, no, because he never has. I mean, he might make $5 somehow, but that's all it'll amount to, and later on in his life, he'll regret it. He could have been one of the best scrappers Athens ever seen, but no, that ego got out of hand on him.
I will and fully intend to help anybody that needs it. It's you who needed me. I made you. and I can and will break you. Where's the Rax Nation at, man? Where you guys at right now? Put it in the comments, man. Where y'all motherfuckers at right now?
That's what people want, Cyrax, you, of all people, to give them advice. Nobody wants help from somebody who isn't going to help themselves, and you are the worst offender of that ever. Every time you talk to somebody about what's going on because you love to tell people about your pity parties. Oh, it's been 7 years of pure chaos. Have I inflicted it all upon myself? Well, yeah, he sure has, but he's not going to mention that too much. Well, he has to when he says, I went back and, I had to tell people what was right because I've got to defend myself. Even though the only reason he had to defend himself was because the allegations were so hefty against him that there was no denying it. He's on camera saying it himself. But he's got to leave all of that out because then it wouldn't fit the image he's trying to build up. But in the middle of all that, people just say to him, so why don't you stay off the internet? Why don't you avoid these places that cause you misery? And all he can do is, no, I'm not going to listen to that. I've got to be headstrong. I've got to destroy all of the haters. Do they think they know me? Well, yes, Cyrax, they definitely know you because for the last 8 years, last 10 years really, you've been posting to the internet every single day. Everyone knows about every drama you've been in, every person you dislike, and every terrible thing that you've done. It's not going to change. You're one of the most cataloged people on the entire internet. There's like 7, 8, 9 channels that all have like hundreds of videos of you, from the Facebook days all the way to the YouTube days. You can't escape this, but yet you're going to tell people what to do. That's on par with Chibi saying he's going to be a therapist. Chibi doesn't need to be a therapist, he just needs one. You don't need to be giving advice, helping people, you just need it yourself. Take it, accept it, and move on with your life. But that's never going to happen. And then Cyrax goes on to say he's made us all, he's the ruler, the conqueror, so on his own whim, whenever he wants, he can just destroy us all with barely even a thought. But as soon as he says that, he's like, alright, Cyrax Nation, step up, step up. Who agrees with me in chat? And it's just nobody. No one's typing 1s or 2s. They're like, yeah, Cyrax, you're the best in the world. They're all like, nah, man, you don't own anything. You're not the best in the world. We don't even know why you're on live stream talking about this right now. Shouldn't you be raging on panel at the moment? But he's got to ignore that because I think he's got a fake girlfriend right now hyping him up, standing on the sidelines like, you go, Cyrax. Is she a troll with her own game plan? Probably. They always are. Don't doubt that a bit.
This right here is a song that's actually very close to me, guys. This song, in a lot of ways, talks about some shit that I went through back in the day. Coming up through the troll shit. Coming up through my own ways. Doing what I needed to do to get out to where I need to be. Going through hell and back and surviving. Opening up to my heart. Opening up my heart to those that I thought were friends that ended up tearing me down. This is Scars.
12 seconds later.
An answer to this little comment about having rematches. Let me just tell you right now, never gonna happen. I'm not paying that egotistical loser of a human any mind at all whatsoever. Because that man doesn't deserve the time of day. People said that I would be torn down, destroyed, left to the wayside. People said that my scars would be the death of me. But in reality, they became my strength. They became the reason why I'm at where I'm at. And everybody that wants to hate, go ahead and spew your hate comments because they only fuel my success. I made it out of the troll community. I made it out of that shit. And I'm back to who I was 8 years ago.
If you had zero context of what Cyrax is talking about, you would think he's had the worst life ever, and not the easiest one we could even imagine. He just sits in his room all day, like 18 hours of it, night, day, doesn't matter. He doesn't have a sleep schedule. Do you really think he cares whether he gets up in the morning time or the evening time or in the middle of the night? It's not a factor to him. So he just goes on about his day, walks down to the kitchen, gets some Hot Pockets, comes back and just causes his own chaos every single night. That was basically his life for years. That's all he did. And he went to sleep peacefully. There's never a better example of when, I think her name was Vita. Cyrax drags Vita on the panel and like she's in a world of hurt, like it's a bad day for her. Then all of a sudden Cyrax just dips out. And Vita has to call Cyrax to tell him that he's a bad person. And matter of fact, I think the call was to ask him why he's not on panel right now. And when Cyrax answers, even though he's just raging out, taking his shirt off, threatening to fight people and all kinds of other things, he's just like, hey Vita, how you doing? Like it's just a regular day. This is nothing to him. When Vita's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you not helping me? He's like, oh man, just turn the stream off, go on with your day. It doesn't matter what they do to you at the end of it. Look at me. I'm standing strong. I know what this is all about. You'll be fine, trust me. But you have to be my friend from now on. Like, don't turn your back on me. This is all self-imposed, but really, I think he's talking about Tibbs for the most part, because him and Tibbs are in the exact same boat. Everyone dislikes Tibbs, everyone dislikes Cyrax, and they would just talk about it all night while Tibbs is just filling his head with all of these aspirations that they're gonna win at the end of the day. And after all of those late night Discord sessions, all of those late night Xbox sessions, what did Tibbs do? He betrayed him, just like everyone else does. Because even though Tibbs is awful, Tibbs still somehow manages to think Cyrax is just as bad as him, if not worse. And that's saying a whole lot. And after that terrible Christmas Eve show, Cyrax somehow thought it was so great, he was going to do it again on Christmas. And this Christmas, he wasn't nearly as angry, probably because Sally filled the Christmas trees up for him. He had that Hot Pocket dinner we was talking about, and maybe he visited Jake. He hasn't got many more problems right now, so it's time for him to reflect upon his future.
What is up, all you crazy ass motherfuckers out there? First of all, Merry Christmas to every motherfucker out there. Merry Christmas to everyone out there, man. How you guys doing tonight? Now, I know a few people have been asking, yo, when are you gonna do racing again? When are you gonna go back to that? I'm gonna let you guys put the puzzle pieces together on that one. Because if the answer ain't clear, well, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't figure it out, well, that's on you. And not only is racing content coming back, but your boy's doing it the way I started it back in the day. Your boy's doing my style, my way, my rules. Having fun, kicking ass, taking names, and breaking records, baby. That's how I'm doing it, and that's how I'm gonna continue to do it until I'm in the motherfucking ground. And if y'all don't like that, well, that's a you problem. That ain't me problem. That's a you problem.
Imagine the peacefulness of Sally and Ed's Christmas morning. This is probably the first one where they've only had like 30 or 40 phone calls. The first one where the cops have only shown up 2 or 3 times. And they left peacefully because there really wasn't much going on, because when Cyrax says, I left the internet, there's a little bit of proof unless they look at the really recent stuff. But he could say it and they might believe him. But then you walk downstairs, you're having the family Hot Pockets, and it's not just the pizza ones. He's got the steak and cheese, you know, the ham and cheese. They're eating good in the Wilkins house. As you're sitting and laughing, and all of a sudden Cyrax breaks out and says, and you know what? I think I can start racing again. I just started singing a few nights ago. And that's when Sally realized it wasn't a nightmare. Cyrax was singing in the middle of the night again. He's beefing with trolls online, and it's all running back to her brain. She's like, oh man, it's all about to happen again. I can't believe that wasn't the final straw, like right then and there. Just call the police and be like, you know what? You gotta come get him. I'm serving him his eviction notice. You just gotta come deal with this. I can't do it anymore. But no, she's not gonna do that. She buckles every single time. She's just like, you know what, Chance? That's really nice. That's really nice. And Ed, you know, too many perk 30s. He don't even care. He's just, what? Yeah, that's nice. That's nice, Cyrax. Now, let me get back into this delicious ham and cheese hot pot. Wonder if Cyrax gives him the same runaround he says to us, where he's like, and I'm gonna get back to it just the exact way I did last time. You know, I was almost the greatest of all time. Even though we all know, every single one of us, if Cyrax does the same racing he did last time, he's just wrecking into every single wall that he comes across. Gotta turn on driver assistance. It's like, does he tell this to Sally and Ed when he's like, I'm gonna be a professional e-racer? I mean, they've gotta know. Every time Cyrax says he's gonna be famous on something else, it seems like everybody in his life just tunes out. That's the entire reason him and Gordon got into it the first time. Because Gordon's just like, Cyrax, you're not gonna be a rapper. He could take one look at Cyrax and know, this guy can barely string a sentence together. You think he's actually gonna be a good rapper? No, you need to get some life skills, dude. Just let the hobbies come along. He was basically telling Cyrax, stop making music, get a real job because this isn't gonna work out for you. And how did Cyrax respond to that? Well, he almost fought Gordon, and then he goes home and demands to be taken all the way back to Akron, Ohio from Florida. Like what, a 10-hour trip, something like that? But it's no biggie to Cyrax. It's not his gas money. He doesn't care about other people. It's all about what he wants. And the situation he's currently dragging himself into just proves all of that. The most peaceful time his family has ever had, and he's just ruining it. Why? He doesn't know why. It doesn't really matter to him. He's just bored in the middle of the night and has nothing better to do. Why not apply for some jobs? Who wants to go work? He's got walls to slam into while he's e-racing. That's what true men do.
Is everybody that's talking shit is sleeping, not doing shit with their lives. While me, I'm putting in that 24/7, never ending, never ceasing, never stopping, never quitting, never giving up kind of work. While y'all are sleeping, I'm working. Now there is a comment that I want to touch on briefly, but somebody named Jared Oakley. And this is no hate to you, Jared, at all. I don't know you, so I'm not gonna pass judgment on you. But I will say this, you scream through the void long enough, eventually you're gonna get something back. Whether that's good or bad, you scream through the void long enough, eventually you get something back. Just saying. You know, y'all haters may as well just give up on hating, man, because I know you guys are secretly fans, so why don't you stop hating, man? You guys know y'all are secret fans, man, so stop the hate, man. We all know you guys are secret fans of mine, so why hate? It don't make sense. If you guys are fans, you're fans. Don't hide it. Embrace it. Hell, I've already embraced the fact that you guys are secret fans, and I love every single one of you guys. I've already embraced the fact that you guys are fans. Secret fans, but still fans nonetheless. Cause you guys watch my shit and all that stuff, so you can't deny it, man. You just can't. Y'all are secret fans, and you don't want to admit to it because y'all are scared of being attacked. I mean, if you guys are fans, you guys are fans. You don't need to hide it. But to everybody in chat, man, I hope you guys are everything they curses, man. Hope you guys get everything that you guys wanted, dude. For real. I hope y'all got all the Christmas presents y'all wanted, all that fun stuff. Hope y'all had a good time with friends, family, ate a lot of good food, opened a lot of cool gifts.
Cyrax, you can do your kind of work for 24 hours in a row. Heck, you can not even go to sleep on some nights, work 28 hours non-stop. But the kind of stuff you do just isn't going to get you anywhere. Your music just isn't likable. Most people don't enjoy it, so they're not going to listen to it. so you can fiddle away with it all day, and it's not going to change much. The only real option you have is making beats, but you prove that you'll probably just steal other people's beats in the meantime, so it's not real work. Realistically, you're only working like 2 or 3 hours a day because the rest of that is just playing Xbox while you procrastinate. Nothing you really do equals real money. A person working 4 hours at a minimum wage job is accomplishing more than you do when you say you're working for 24 hours. That's how bad it is. And then he goes on to say if you scream into the void long enough, someone will answer back. No, if you just scream into a hole that's empty, there's no one going to be answering you except yourself. So you're just going to be in a feedback loop, which basically is what Cyrax is saying right now. If you just scream at a wall long enough, you'll lose your mind, and then everything you'll say will be right. All of the delusions, that's so much better than logic. Who wants to be logical? That's no fun. Then delusional, that's the way to be in this world. But I guess that's enough from me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Follow the socials down below. I'll catch you guys next time.
Turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so. Turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so.
Well, folks, it's been a while since I talked about Mr. Put the Fries in the Bag, Joshua Block himself, World of T-shirts, whatever you want to call him. Recently, he's been doing another travel arc. He went to Mexico, and now he's going to Japan. And you know how Japan is with these crazy streamers. They just don't deal with that shit. If you disrespect their culture, they're gonna end up arresting you. You know, Japan isn't like New York. You can't just sit there, scream at people, tell them you're gonna off them, and expect for the police not to arrest you. And that's exactly what Josh did. With the help of a few weens, Josh was able to quickly make his Japan trip into a disaster. But even without them, even without the help of trolls, I think Josh would still find a way to fuck up this trip, just like he does all his other trips. The same thing happened with that dude Johnny Somali. He thought he was gonna be able to, go to Japan and get away with doing a bunch of bullshit, pulling his little pranks or whatever. But in reality, you can't do that shit in Japan. They're just gonna arrest your ass. So Josh ended up in the Japanese embassy, which made people question whether or not he was gonna be, arrested and detained and, charged with anything. Well, Josh was arrested and detained. We know that now because video footage has been released, but still, nobody knew if Josh was gonna be charged with anything. And I'm gonna say it right now before we get into anything else, just so I don't, keep holding you guys here wondering. Josh didn't get charged. He was released, and both Mr. Based and Mayor Flanagan confirmed that they talked with Josh and everything was fine. But at first, a lot of people were under the idea that Josh was going to be facing 10 years to life in prison, or at least that's what was stated according to a page that goes by World of Clips on X. I woke up this morning, checked my phone, and saw this post that read, Joshua Block is currently on the phone with the US Embassy and could be facing 10 years to life in prison for threatening multiple Japanese people with bloody murder. And I guess their evidence for this was a simple picture of Josh detained in the Japanese embassy or some kind of Japanese prison. I don't know exactly where they took him, but they basically took him somewhere to question him and detain him. And he's an American citizen, so I assume they didn't just take him straight to Japanese prison, right? But honestly, I have no idea how that shit works. I've never been to Japan and I don't know how their legal system works, so I could totally be speaking out of turn. Either way, he was definitely detained somewhere by the Japanese police. So before we get into his major freak out and his subsequent detaining, first, let's look at some clips leading up to the whole situation, because people have been fucking with Josh basically ever since he arrived in Japan, trying to keep him from crashing out while, simultaneously other people are in the background finding his location and trying to get him to freak out. So, you got his homies who are drinking with him being like, Josh, chill out, bud, while these random people are finding him, telling him to put the fries in the bag.
Person that says,
Josh, put the fucking fries. Don't listen to him.
Hey, I make more money than you.
Stop.
My trip is ruined.
No, it's not. 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 It's stop. Yeah. Don't listen. Don't worry about it.
Pilot would make
400 grand. That's a lot of money. Here, cheers, Josh.
But when I'm this famous, why am everyone this famous makes millions? Why can't I be rich everyone else? Before I got a girlfriend.
What did he say?
Your account has been BANNED.
Why?
You mean banned. Yeah.
What do you mean what does banned mean? What does banned mean? You know what it means. You know what it means, bro. Come on, look in.
You don't know what band means. No.
He's banning us right now.
Bro, Chuck's banning us. No. That's his line.
I thought band's been a rock and roll.
That's repeated
So people have been predicting that this was going to happen with Josh ever since he landed in Japan. Ever since the videos dropped of him chilling with his homies and getting harassed, almost immediately, people knew that a crash out was inevitable. It was right around the corner and it happened, and it was pretty bad. But before we check out that crash out, I wanted to speak a little bit more on the shit that happened beforehand, including this stream that happened between Josh and another dude. It's just some random streamer from Japan, but I found this clip to be pretty funny. Josh talks about how he was constipated and how he blew up the toilet in Japan, like his motel toilet. It's pretty funny. I mean, it just goes to show how horrible this dude's health is. Homie has some pretty bad issues for the age that he is. You know, he's in his 20s and homie's having these difficulties. It's pretty crazy. You got to think about how bad Josh's health probably is behind the scenes. Like, we've seen him with blotches on his face and shit, but who knows the kind of shit that he goes through off camera. Homie probably has horrible health. He's probably always dealing with issues and, you know, having to go to the doctors to check up random bullshit. You know, why is his face peeling off? You know, why can't he shit anymore? Why is his liver hurt? Shit like that. There also seems to be a lady with Josh in those other clips. I don't know if you guys seen it, but there's some chick that he got. I don't know if Mr. Bass got this female for him or if this is like his girlfriend from Japan, but either way, it seemed pretty weird. Like, the whole situation seemed really awkward and it didn't seem that natural to me. From what I know, Mr. Bass just tends to hire these chicks to, you know, play around with Josh and make it seem like he's got some shit going on for the cameras so people talk about it. Josh being around a girl seems to be a huge deal, especially to the weens, because they love to freak him out while he's with these females. They love to see how he's going to react. And most of the time, you're wondering if he's going to hit them or not. It's like a 50-50 chance that he might just suck whoever is next to him. It doesn't matter who it is. Homie's just like punch happy. But enough yapping, let's get into this clip of Josh on live stream because, like I said, I found it to be pretty funny.
Like, I was constipated for a month and then I made a big shit.
In Japan?
Yeah, and then and my toilet's still backed up. I didn't bother like to call maintenance.
You have a plunger and it's still plugged right now?
Yeah. My bathroom smells awful.
Does it have a plunger? Like, so you can push it through?
No, I think I have to call like the front desk and have a
Well, yeah, room service. Room service takes care of that for you?
room services for food and drinks.
No, you know what I mean, though? Like, when they come in, like...
I could, like, get, like, the housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping.
Because my toilet's still backed up and I have to keep the door to the bathroom closed because my bathroom smells like a sewer.
In the morning, you should call...
My bathroom smells like a sewer.
Did you try flushing? Does the water just rise and like overflow? Or
The toilet's backed up.
oh my god! You gotta flush multiple times.
It's clogged. Yeah. Because I made a shit like this. I was constipated for a month, and then I gave myself I put a suppository. And what I did was I put a suppository in my ass, and that helped me. You know what a suppository is?
Yeah. You know what I think, Josh?
You know what a suppository is? It's like for constipation. You shove it up your butt and it helps you.
I can't imagine being constipated for that long. A whole fucking month. This dude held his shit in just to wait till he got to his hotel in Japan to let it all out. And then he didn't even call room service. He tells the dude that room service is for, food and shit like that. I think he knew what the guy meant. Like, I knew what the guy meant. He meant the housekeepers. Like, bro, Josh is gonna sit there and wait till he leaves. And then one of these, housekeepers are gonna come in to clean up his mess. And then they're gonna have to find a big shit in the toilet, just clogged. And it's gonna be sitting there for days. It's one thing if it was, fresh shit that they had to unclog. And it's another thing when it's a shit that's been there for like, I don't know how long he's gonna stay there, maybe like a couple days, maybe 3 days. Come on, it's gotta be way worse. And if they would have been able to deal with it at the time, they could have gave him the plunger and had him do it. But he's just gonna leave it to them. He's just gonna be like, fuck it, let them deal with this massive alcoholic constipated shit I just took. Also, what's the deal with locals and shoving shit up their ass? You have Daniel Larson with his toothbrush, Cyrax with his stylus, and now you have World of T-Shirts with his suppository. Yes, folks, that's right. World of T-Shirts openly let everybody know that he had to shove a big pill up his ass so that he was able to shit. That's how bad his alcoholism has gotten. It's gotten to the point where homie is constipated for a month on end and has to shove a big pill up his ass just to shit. That's just something that you shouldn't be telling the internet. There's just some shit that you should keep to yourself, but these locals love attention. They don't give a fuck where they get it from. Like, World of T-Shirts knows that this shit is being watched. He knows that it's gonna be clipped. He knows that people are gonna talk about it on Reddit. That's exactly what they did. And it's funny, but it's not funny for the same reasons that he would think it's funny. You know, we're not laughing with him. He's sort of being laughed at. But that's kind of the theme with locals, right? No one's really laughing with them, they're laughing at them, but yet they still seem to think that people are on their side, you know, standing right next to them, laughing along with them. So now let's move on to the main freak out. So of course, I think you guys can guess what caused this freak out. It was somebody saying, put the fries in the bag. You would think that he would get over it, that, you know, eventually he would become desensitized to hearing that phrase, but yet it hits home every single time. Every single time he hears it, it hits the same. Homie started flipping out. He had a huge freak out, and he just started going throughout the streets talking about how he was gonna murk people, how he hated Japan, and how he wanted to go back home to Italy, whatever that means. He seems to think that Italy is his home, when in reality, we all know that Josh grew up in New York, so that's his home. I guess there's just less trolls in Italy, you know what I mean? He doesn't have a very heavy audience in Europe, so he probably is able to get away with a lot more and just, you know, able to chill in Europe. Whereas in other countries, it's a lot harder for him to do bullshit because people will come up, say, put the fries in the bag, and then next thing you know, he'll be freaking out. We also see the return of an old friend, Michael Quinn. We haven't seen Michael Quinn in a while. Ever since Mr. Bass got his hands on Josh, Michael Quinn's been out of the picture. So if you don't know who Michael Quinn is, he was basically the first person to wrangle Josh, start using him for content, and exploiting his alcoholism. It seems like now Michael Quinn is trying to find a reason to wiggle his way back into Josh's life, and he's using this as the perfect time, making some goofy reaction post in reference to the news of Josh getting arrested. Now, Michael Quinn has done this before. His whole page used to just be talking about shit that was happening to World of T-Shirts, but it seems like recently he's been trying to amp it up, and you know, him and Mr. Bass might have some shit going on. They might be in cahoots now, but we'll look at all that after. Without further ado, let's look at these clips of Josh freaking the fuck out.
Very good. All right.
Josh, are you okay? Josh.
My glasses!
Josh, are you okay? Josh. Oh. Josh.
I dropped something.
Josh.
Fuck Japan! I'll fucking murder you! I ain't 400 grand fucking year! I'll kill you! This damn country, I wanna go home to Italy! You fuck! I don't want to it's your fucking friend! I'll murder both of you! This damn country! Fuck Japan! Fuck you! I'll kill someone!
Josh, relax.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
This is the best
best part of my Japan trip.
He's just fucking mad.
I've been here for a month. This is the best part of it.
I don't know who told Josh it was a good idea to go on this trip, but it was a horrible idea. Japan doesn't fuck around when it comes to streamers. They aren't gonna let you come over there, break a bunch of laws, and disrespect their culture. You shouldn't be screaming in the streets, talking about how you're gonna murk people. There's no way that you're gonna be able to get away with that in most Asian cultures. But I mean, fuck, Japan, the Japanese government, they're not gonna let you do that crazy shit, bro. So I don't know how Mr. Bass didn't intervene and tell Josh this was a bad idea. He should have done that like right away. Right when Josh mentioned going to Japan, Mr. Bass probably should have told him it was a dumb idea. But I'm sure deep down, Mr. Bass probably wanted something to go down. He didn't give a fuck if Josh got arrested. That's just more clout for the both of them. And then I think Josh's same friends are with them from the videos before, the tourist people that were kind of, you know, fucking around with him and getting him drunk. I'm pretty sure that they're sitting there watching him get detained and arrested, not doing shit. Some Japanese citizen had to come over there and like basically constrain him, like hold him down so he would stop freaking out, and then, you know, get the police on his ass. And Josh is sitting there telling the police that he was kidnapped, basically. Like, he says something along those lines, but he basically says that he was being held captive. It's pretty fucking weird, right? Like, this dude's screaming, talking about how he's gonna murk people, and then when somebody tries to get him to stop, when they try to constrain him, he starts saying that he can't breathe and that, you know, he's being kidnapped and shit. That shit might work in New York, but in Japan, they already know what's going down. Everybody knows that you're a fucking idiot. It's pretty easy to tell when, you know, all the citizens are pointing at you when the cop asked who the fuck was telling people they were gonna get murked. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty obvious. It's plain to see. And of course, his plot armor held strong because, like, no less than an hour later, homie was posting at another bar, getting drunk right away. Right after being detained and released, homie decided it was a good idea to get more drunk just so he can plan another freak out later in the night. Shit, we'll probably have 2 Japan freakouts by the end of the trip, because I already know that this dude is just gonna go right back to getting hammered and freaking out when some dude tells him to put the fries in the bag. I wonder if people have started telling him put the fries in the bag in, you know, Japanese. That'd be pretty funny, right? Because I'm sure he wouldn't really be able to understand it. So you can probably pass by him and say it a few times without him even knowing it. You know, clip that shit, it would go viral. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. Y'all can let me know in the comments if you think Josh is going to continue to freak out even more on this Japan trip, if you think he's going to get arrested. People online have been speculating that Josh may have been given a warning, and the next time he does do something, they're just going to hold him in a mental hospital. But that's just what somebody on Reddit was saying, and, you know, they have no clear evidence for that. Everybody just seems to be going off of feelings, basically. So we'll just have to wait and see. But here's what the homie Michael Quinn had to say. Michael Quinn has been, you know, giving his 2 cents on the whole matter basically ever since shit came out. And currently, his story is that Josh got jumped, his jaw got broken, and now he doesn't want to be seen in public. Even though Josh posted like tons of videos today, Michael Quinn just seemed to throw that shit in. I think he's just lying. He's making shit up at this point, which is pretty whack. But anyway, homie is sitting there telling everybody that Josh got his jaw broken when that's clearly not what happened. I don't understand where the fuck he pulled this shit out of his ass, but here, you guys can see his reaction. It's pretty dumb.
Alright, so I spoke to Josh about a half an hour ago. He was panicking because he was jumped in Japan, and he fears that his jaw is broken. He doesn't want to appear in public with the jaw wired up. So I'm going to be in the Bahamas for a while. He gets back Tuesday. I said the 2 of us, we'll go for lunch. We'll go to John's Oblique for some pizza. And we need to discuss plans going forward to help him out, make sure he's protected, and get his life back in order.
This dude knows damn well that he doesn't give a fuck about Josh getting his life back in order. He already had his chance with Josh, and he just used him for clout. He didn't even use him good either. Like, Mr. Bass has used Josh way more and has skyrocketed Josh as a lolcow. Whereas Michael Quinn just would always try to keep him to himself. He basically gave him like the Daniel Larson treatment or the Cyrax treatment. where they were just sort of like held away and nobody was able to really make content on them because nothing would come out. Every time Daniel Larson would do something, Larson League would have their hands on it, and then they would wait to release it. Anytime Cyrax would do anything, Marty would wait to release it. And if you made videos using their content, they'd get kind of pissed off, you know what I mean? But Mr. Bass doesn't get too pissed about that. Like, a lot of people actually critique Mr. Bass, and he does seem to care, but he doesn't do like false flags. He doesn't really like talk about specific creators. He kind of just lets that shit roll because he already knows how it goes. If people talk about him, you know, no matter if it's negative or positive, it's publicity. Now, I'm not trying to say that Michael Quinn or Mr. Bass are better than one another. They're both scumbags. But at the end of the day, Michael Quinn didn't do much with Josh, whereas Mr. Bass has done a lot. You know, they've done a lot together and they got into a lot of controversies. So I don't know, what do you guys think is better? When Josh is with Michael Quinn or when Josh is with Mr. Bass? Both of them get him, you know, massively drunk. It's just one puts him in situations where he could really fuck up and the other seems to keep him pretty dormant. So I think for his own health, Josh might be better off with Michael Quinn, but as far as content goes, Mr. Bass is the way to go. But anyway, y'all, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you watched all the way to the end, you're the best. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Do you think I said, God, please take their dad? No, I didn't. But he died, and that's what it was. But she's trying to get pushed in the ranks. But your friend is a single mom that has 2 kids without a dad?
Mom, I love you, but you need to quit saying the dad stuff, okay?
No, I know, but it's still like,
okay,
it pisses me off.
Well, folks, I avoided this day for quite a while, but the time has finally come. I'm finally going to be talking about Ash Trevino. Now, if you don't know who Ash Trevino is, she was formerly known as the inmate Hopper. Right now, she's more known for talking to like younger males. The last person she was with was this dude named Santos, and he was 19 years old. But, you know, there's been rumors that she's talked to much younger individuals, at least for short periods of time. You know, people that she's seen outside, like 16-year-old males, and, you know, partied with them and shit like that. It's pretty wild. Ash Trevino is very comparable to Tofia. She's like Tofia Chu, but like a different breed of Tofia Chu. There's a little bit of different complexities to the both of them, but for the most part, they both go on live stream, spurg out, and are hated by most people. But where things diverge is that Ashley Trevino is actually able to take her lolcowdom and make profit off of it. You know, she's actually able to make some virality out of it, make songs and shit, you know, make a little bit of money off of gifts. Whereas Tofia Chu is living in her car and she doesn't really make a lot of money off of TikTok. Now, I'm not saying Ash Trevino is rich off of TikTok or something like that, but what I'm saying is that she's able to take her lolcowdom and make some kind of profit off of it, whereas Tofia Chu is lacking in that department. Both are horrible people, both are claimed to be PDF files, but yet people tend to pay Ash Trevino a lot more. And I think it's because of the battling. She battles with other people. She battles with her friend Heffa, I think her name is, Jefa, pronounced Heffa. So she's always doing these live stream like battles with her, and people hate Ash Trevino. So now they'll go to this other girl's live stream and like, you know, gift her just to rub it in Ash Trevino's face and make her look like a doofus, I guess. So both of these women are like pushing Ash Trevino's hatred to make money off of it, to make profit off of it. The thing about Ash getting herself in all these dramas and, you know, trying to act like a teenager, basically having a midlife crisis, is the fact that she has kids. That's the thing. She has like 2 daughters and she's always neglecting them to go on live stream and to try to relive her glory days, do, you know, a bunch of random bullshit, meet up with these younger dudes. She's just trying to appear as though she's young, cool, and hip. You know, she's one of the fellow kids, when in reality, nobody likes her and everybody just likes to goof on her, you know what I mean? They just keep her around to basically bully her. It's sad, but it's true. But considering the amount of like nasty shit that I've seen this woman do, it's probably justified. Actually, I know for sure that it's justified because she's a disgusting person. You can just pull up any of her live streams in any single day, right? Just a random live stream, pull it up, could be a Monday, could be a Wednesday, could be the weekend, right? But either way, she's going to be doing something that she shouldn't be doing, whether that be talking about somebody that she shouldn't be talking about, talking to somebody that she shouldn't be talking to, or doing something that she shouldn't be doing, all while her kids are present. And I can go on and on about Ash Trevino's past, but I'm sure everybody already knows this. I'm sure people have already seen videos on her, and if you haven't, you can look her up. Tons of people have done documentaries on her, so it's pretty easy to find really good content already curated. But right now we're going to be talking about this particular live stream that happened about a day ago. Now, I saw a clip from this live stream when I was just scrolling through TikTok. You know, a lot of these lolcow videos are in my feed right now, so I find it really interesting to just take a moment to see what's up. I scroll through TikTok, I might see a Tofia Chu clip, might see an Ash Trevino clip, might see somebody reacting to them, right? It's interesting. And I see this clip where Ash Trevino is crying. She's bawling her eyes out because apparently somebody gifted her friend instead of her, and she's saying that this person betrayed her. She's acting as though this is such a big deal, and she's saying that because she's single, or, you know, a single mother with these 2 kids, that the gifter shouldn't have gifted her friend and should have gifted her because she needs it more. It was this weird entitlement thing going on, and I found the fact that she was crying and having a breakdown over this minute thing to be pretty crazy. So enough talking, let's just get into this first clip.
But at the end of the day, like, don't support both of us because we kind of go against each other, is the way I see it. Her gifters don't come gift me, so why should my gifters go gift her, is the way I see it, right? Her gifters never come gift me. Faith, Jan, all them, they don't come gift me. Irene, all them, they don't come gift me. So why go gift her if you're on my team, is the way I see it. I'm just speaking my truth, and that's the way I see it. So if you want to gift her, you can stay on her side, and that's fine. I'll eventually get bigger ones. I'll eventually get gifters, it's fine. But her gifters don't come gift me. So my gifters should never go gift the other opponent, is the way I see it. But it is what it is at the end of the day. And they can stay on her side. Because they make their own money, they do their own thing, and that's what they do. So if y'all miss Joelle, y'all can go to her side. I'm not gonna cry for y'all. I still make money on other apps anyways. It doesn't even fucking matter.
Don gifted you.
No, but I'm saying like your gifters don't come gift me, but my gifters go over there. So it's like, why?
During we battle? During when we battle? Or
yeah,
what?
yeah, like your gifters don't come gift against you. So why should my gifters go gift against me?
My
to
gifters
you?
do gift against me all the time.
No, but to me, no, they don't come over here to me.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
When you're down bad, yes, they do. I just don't.
No,
say
they
anything.
don't, Hefa. No, they don't. None of your gifters come over here.
Hey, let me tell you the names. Marilyn.
That's not one of my gifters. Marilyn has been one of my gifters from Canada. She's been one of my gifters. She's from Canada. She's from Canada.
No, Marilyn is one of my
Marilyn is one of my gifters. She's been one of my gifters.
Mods, give me names, because my gifters always
But literally, like, Faith and all them, they don't fucking gift against me.
No, but those are
But
big.
Joel is gifting against me. Like, that's what I don't fucking understand. So he can stay over there. I don't need him. I'm not gonna sit there and beg for somebody to be their loyalty on me whenever she makes way more than I make a fucking day. And I'm a single parent, so it doesn't even matter. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. We didn't get the roses. It's fine, babe. It's fine, my loves. Thank you, babes, for trying. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I had to end that live. She's still one of my biggest gifters, bro, and I don't think that's right. As a friend, you should never steal your friend's gifters. That's shady as fuck. You make millions of dollars on this app a month. I don't. I'm a single parent. Don't you? I know, baby. It just makes me mad. I know. I'm sorry.
Don't cry.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm okay. She just stole one of my biggest gifters, and I don't think that's right. Like, as a person that battles, your team should stay with your team. Their team should stay with their team, and she thinks it's okay. One of my biggest gifters was literally gifting against me the whole entire thing because she's on podium. It doesn't matter if she's on podium.
The switch up in this clip is crazy. Ash goes from acting like she doesn't care, like everything's fine. She talks about how she makes money on other apps, how it's all good if this person gifts her friend, to then crying like seconds later. Well, before crying, she starts an argument with her friend and calls her out on live stream, tries to say that she's stealing all her gifters and none of the gifters from her chat go to, Ash's chat, whatever the fuck, right? I don't get this whole battling thing, but either way, it seems really cringe for two grown women to be like, complaining about this kind of shit, but whatever. I have no idea why Ash is acting like she's surprised that people don't want to gift her and want to gift her friend instead. She's basically the villain. That's how they have it set up. She's the villain and, her friend is the normal person, the voice of reason basically, who, makes fun of Ash from time to time, but is still friends with her for some reason. It's a whole thing. I don't really get the hierarchy there, but it works out for them as far as views and gifts goes. But Ash seemed to have enough of all the gifters going to her friend's page instead, because it got all the way to the point that her own pay pigs were not even paying her anymore. They were paying her friend. That made her pretty upset, but it just goes to show how many people dislike this woman. And then she goes on to use her kids as a reason why people should be paying her and not her friend. when she leaves her kids all the time to do stupid shit. She's not the model mother, right? Nobody thinks of Ash Trevino as a great mom. It's quite the opposite. Not only is she known for bringing a bunch of felons near her young daughters, but she's also known for just leaving them and neglecting them while she goes to a bar or, does her little live streams. She's also taken them to like numerous shady places, and bad things have happened while they were there, including one time when she went to her friend's house and that friend's ex came over and ended up like going berserk in the place while her and her daughter were there. The police ended up having to get involved. It was a whole ordeal, and it just goes to show how neglectful this woman is to her children. So for her to use her kids as some kind of defense or some kind of reason as to why people should pay her more is crazy, when she herself doesn't even care about her kids. But when money's involved, then she's the mother, right? She's the model mother who takes care of her children. She's the single mom who works so hard, loves her kids and never stops. The whole Reba thing, right? Like, she's basically acting like she's the model mother when in reality, she's a bad example of a mom and she shouldn't even be trying to say anything about her kids at this point. Like, I don't know who the fuck has a complete meltdown over some stupid shit like this because somebody didn't gift you. Because somebody who was your top gifter gifted your homie. That's like if I got mad if one of the people who donated to one of my live streams went to Chilla's live streams and donated to him. It would be really weird, right? It's like, who the fuck cares? There should be other options. You shouldn't be relying on this one person to, give you all your money. If somebody goes and donates to another person, well, oh well. Somebody else will come along and like your content and hopefully they'll donate. But you'll see later that Ash has like a special connection to these pay pigs. I think she even has this dude's number. So it's pretty crazy. Let's just continue to see her go berserk. She keeps crying. She keeps like texting her friend erratically. I've just never seen anything like this.
That they can support. I can't. All they see is money signs, and to be honest, you guys, like, this is how I support my kids. I don't have their dad's child support no more. He passed away. She has a husband. They have their own company. They have money other than Joel's texting me. Hold on. No, I disconnected. She has her own husband and they have their own trucking company. I don't have anything besides this to help support my kids. And so to see my biggest gifter on her side and she thinks it's okay, like, her biggest gifters don't come to my side. They don't like me. And that's what she doesn't understand is, like, Faith doesn't come to my side. Irene doesn't come to my side to shoot against her. She tries to say Marilyn, and Marilyn's one of my gifters. Again, she tries to steal my gifters. And I mean, it is what it is in the battle world, but when your loyalty is with one person, your loyalty should stay with that one person. Like, and she comes from money. She has money. Her husband has a trucking company. I have nothing but this. If I don't make money on TikTok, I make nothing for my kids and they can't eat. Okay? Call me whatever you want, but this is my job at the end of the day. So for her, like, not to be a true friend and literally, like, be like, you know what, Joelle, you're her gifter, go to her side. If she's okay with it, I wasn't gonna have you gifting against me anymore because she has her husband. She has gifters that don't come to my side to support me against her. So I told her, keep you. I don't need you. I'm good. I don't make shit. I'm good. That's what it is. So I disconnected the live. and you can continue to shoot for her. Like, it's no harm against you. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money, but again, I don't make shit on this app. So you're one of my biggest gifters, so you can stay on her side. I'm good. I just told that to Joel. He can stay on her side. I'm good. I don't need that, to be honest. Like, that's bullshit, bro. Like, it's bullshit.
The way that this chick thinks that she's entitled to people's money is insane. She goes on live stream and does nothing of benefit. She does nothing of value to anyone and expects people to just throw money at her. Like, what do you want people to pay you for? Sitting there on live stream crying about how people aren't paying you? What exactly are you doing? It's like, I see people on TikTok live all the time that are actually doing, you know, something entertaining when you're just sitting there, like literally just sitting there listening to other people's songs, picking fights with your friend who is more likable than you. It doesn't matter how many times you cry on live stream, it's never gonna erase all the horrible shit that you did. It's like with Tofia Chu and that Aunt Karen live stream, when she decided to try to defend herself and ended up just crying the whole time and, you know, wanting sympathy, thinking that that was gonna work out, but in reality it just makes you look pathetic. Honestly, you shouldn't be this emotional about something like this. You shouldn't be mad at your friend because they're more successful than you, because they're more likable than you. Maybe you should stop being such a horrible person, you know, actually try to be like more entertaining and more likable instead of coming off so like harsh and so shrill, right? Like you just come off like really unlikable. And then she uses her kids as a crutch, so people feel obliged to pay her money, you know what I mean? So that people just want to give her cash. When in reality, people just think that she's pathetic. They think that she's a loser. You know, she can't even afford to take care of her own kids. You know, she can't even do that by herself. She needs to have these pay pigs pay her money. These guys on TikTok live stream give her gifts for her to be able to support her family. It's ridiculous. You should have some other means of making money, right? Like your whole cash flow shouldn't come from TikTok live streams. You should have tons of other places where your money is coming from. But none of that matters because this whole argument that Ash is making that people should pay her because of her kids makes no sense. Ash neglects her kids all the time. I don't know how she's gonna sit here and act as though she takes care of them like she's mom of the year when most of the time they're off doing some random shit while she's in front of the screen live streaming. And it's not like she's making a bunch of money or anything like that. If she's relying on one gifter, it obviously isn't working out for her. So yeah, it's sad that your kid's father passed away and everything, but at the end of the day, you know, this TikTok live streaming shit isn't helping you out. It's obviously harming you if you're just gonna sit there and cry all the time because you lose one gifter. And it's embarrassing for them. Like, I constantly hear stories about how Ash Trevino's kids are embarrassed by the shit that they're doing. It's obviously not good for anybody. So maybe she should just stop live streaming and get a real job. But no, she continued to go on live stream for an hour after this took place, just crying, bawling her eyes out and complaining that, you know, this dude went over to this other chick's live stream. Just watch.
You still should never gift against somebody else, even if they're on podium. Like, literally. It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's okay in her eyes. She's a good friend, yeah. But in the battle world, no.
So pretty when I make. You should hear it.
Are you okay? Okay. Thank you. How are your friends? Thank you. Because at the end of the day, baby, like, I'm the only one that supports her. They have husbands, they have families that they can support. I can't.
Had a huge crash out over this minute thing, over one of her top gifters gifting one of her friends. Something that she should be happy about, maybe even congratulate her for, but you know, she's just thinking about herself. She acts as though TikTok is her only option, as though the only way that she'll ever be able to feed her kids is by going on TikTok live and doing what she's doing, when in reality, that's just paid the bill so far. But that doesn't mean that that's the only option she has. She's sitting here screaming and yelling, acting as though, you know, if TikTok is gone, if her gifters leave, then she has nothing. Like I said earlier, if that's the case, then TikTok isn't a very good job for you, because it's obviously not stable and it's not taking care of you good enough. If one person leaves, then the whole thing crumbles. And then she gets her daughters involved, which is one of the most disgusting parts of this whole freak out. The fact that she has her daughters coming back and forth asking if she's okay, having to tell her to stop talking about certain topics, it's really embarrassing. It's both embarrassing for them and embarrassing for her. But she doesn't seem to care, like, what is embarrassing to her. She just wants the clout. She just wants people to watch. And if she cries, she knows people are gonna watch. And this is the first, like, Ash Trevino freak out I've seen. Like, I've seen her do dumb shit in the past, and I've seen her controversies before, but I've never seen her go to this length. This is like some Tofia Chu level type shit. This is exactly what I'd see Tofia Chu do if one of her top gifters went over to some random troll, right? Some random detractor. She would get super angry and she would start saying, I deserve those gifts. They should be mine. I'm living in the car with my parents and I have no house. How am I gonna do this? You know, I guess it wouldn't be her parents, it would be her mom, because Papa Chu is out in jail or something like that, or, you know, maybe he's back out, I don't know. Either way, it's her and her brother. So she'd be screaming about how they don't have enough money and how she deserves those gifts. It's crazy, right? All these TikTok locals act as though they're entitled to people's money, people's views, people's time, when in reality, they're not really doing a job. Like, you're technically supposed to be doing a service for other people, right? You're supposed to be doing something in exchange for that money, in exchange for that time, in exchange for those views, something of value. But yet you guys just sit there on live and complain all day. I don't know why people pay them for this. So now let's move on to that final clip. In this final clip, Ash keeps going on about her daughter's father who passed away. She keeps using him as sort of this, you know, excuse as to why people should be paying her. Because she has two daughters, the father passed away, and she didn't ask for it to happen. You know, it just happened, and now she has to make money for her kids by going on TikTok Live. When in reality, you know, a bunch of people provide for their kids. They're not on TikTok Live, they have normal jobs. It gets so bad that the daughter has to go up to her and tell her to stop with the dad stuff, because she goes on like a 3-minute tangent talking about how the father passed away and how, you know, the other girl has a company with her husband and that they make a bunch of money, like all this bullshit, right? Just airing her out and acting as though that makes shit worse.
She tried texting me a whole paragraph. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I said, no, you're good. He can stay with you. He can stay with you. He's trying to push her into ranks. Why not push me into ranks? A single mom. A single mom that doesn't have a dad for her kids. How about put that in the ranks, right? Right. I have no other support but myself. Do you think I asked God to take their dad from them? No, I didn't. I wish their dad was still here to help me with them. Do you think I said, God, please take their dad? No, I didn't. But he died, and that's what it was. But she's trying to get pushed in the ranks. But your friend is a single mom that has 2 kids without a dad?
Mom, I love you, but you need to quit saying the dad stuff, okay?
No, I know, but it's still like...
Okay, but Mom,
me. So how are y'all doing tonight? Or this morning?
The prince in the same. Go walk in December on your hand.
Guys, I don't give a fuck what the hell Hefe saying, bro. She's like, don't be mean to him. Fuck that shit.
And she keeps talking about her children's father over and over again until she obviously crosses a line so far that her daughter has to come out and tell her to stop talking about her dad. You know, it starts to become really obvious that she's just using him for sympathy to get gifts. It's really dystopian that somebody would go that far, you know what I mean? That TikTok Live has got people to the point that they're sitting there, you know, talking about their dead husband, begging for gifts, you know, using that as a reason why people should give them money. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? And at the end of the day, I don't feel bad for Ash Trevino. She's a horrible person. She's brought all this upon herself. But I do feel bad for her children. They are innocent in this, you know what I mean? They have to deal with their mother going on live stream all the time, saying this weirdo shit, right? Not only being a creep and a borderline PDF file, but also talking about their dead father and using that as a reason why people should give them money. So eventually she just goes back to like doing a regular live stream. She's like, how's everybody doing? She wipes away her tears. She's like, good morning, guys. And it's just like, it starts anew. You know, it's weird. She sat there, cried for like an hour, couldn't drop it, and then in a matter of seconds just flips to acting like everything was fine and, you know, it's just the start of a new live stream. Really weird. I don't know what the fuck she's got going on. Definitely some issues there. But all in all, that's all I have for Ash Trevino today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you watched all the way to the end, you're the best. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.